Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Rich Harshaw. Glad to have you on the webinar today. We're just about ready to start, not quite yet. I'm gonna give people just a second to get on. If you would do me a favor and put something in the chat box to indicate that everything is working properly, you can hear me just fine, et cetera, et cetera. You can see the screen, and then we'll get started here in just a moment. All right, how's everybody doing today? This is Rich Harshaw. I am the founder and CEO of Level 10 Contractor, the Grand Poobah, whatever you want to call me. Appreciate you being here today. We're going to talk about, well, it says right there on the screen, 3 digital sales and marketing tools that you should be using. Now, let me tell you how I came up with this idea. I am going to be speaking in, well, just about 2 months from now in Baltimore at Qualified Remodelers FAST conference, and that is a conference that focuses in on technology. And I was talking to the editor of Qualified Remodeler magazine, Pat O'Toole, about the conference, and he was giving me sort of his vision for what that conference is, what it's all about. And I thought it was a really fantastic idea for a conference. It's like we get together for all these different meetings. I speak at a lot of different conferences. Last month I spoke at Pella's conference in Fort Worth, and they talk about Windows, and here's some more things about Windows, and they bring a guy in like me that talks about marketing. And usually when I get in front of a room, I'm going to talk about identity, I'm going to talk about websites, I'm going to talk about SEO, some of those things that are really in the wheelhouse of Level 10 Contractor, and those things are all good. But Pat said there's so many technology things that are happening, and they move so fast that we wanted to create and dedicate a conference to this topic of technology. And I said, well, what kinds of things are you going to be talking about? And a lot of it was sort of these digital tools. Not all of it, okay? Just that was a part of it. And I thought, we're going to do a webinar here. We do 4 webinars per year in our Level 10 Contractor sort of rotation. We're actually going to do 5 because I'm going to throw a sneak webinar in next month. I've had some unbelievably good results with radio advertising in small towns that I want to talk to you about. So I'm gonna call a webinar in April. I'll be announcing that via email, so look out for that. So we're gonna do 5 instead of 4. But I thought I would dedicate one of these 4 webinars to this topic of digital sales and marketing tools. And I came up with the 3 that we're going to talk about today based on feedback from some of my customers. Now, we've got a lot of customers over here at Level 10 Contractor. We build websites, we do SEO, we do advertising on radio and TV, we do Facebook and Google pay-per-click advertising. We perform all of those services for our clients. And I talked to a few of these folks and said, tell me about some of the digital tools that you're using. How did you find out about them? Why do you use them? And these were the 3 that kept coming up over and over again. If you've been to any of these conferences that I just mentioned, You've probably seen some of these companies with their little booths outside talking about these things. Like I said, I was in Fort Worth speaking at the Pella conference in February, and sure enough, Ingage was there, One Click Contractor was there. I don't think Project Mapit was there, but anyway, we're going to talk about these because I think they're really cool things. It's a little bit outside of my normal wheelhouse, and I did speak to these companies and said, hey, I want to profile your company. Is that okay? They of course all said, yeah, that would be fantastic. But I didn't really want to bring them on to quote unquote give a sales pitch. I really just wanted to give you my perspective on these, give you kind of an overview, let you know why I think these are pretty cool. And so that's how we're going to proceed today. So that being said, let me tell you who Level 10 Contractor is. A lot of you on this webinar probably know me. Others of you may have been invited by one of our sponsors. If so, welcome. Nice to meet you. Let me tell you a little bit about me. Like I said, founder, author, and CEO of Level 10 Contractor. Started this business in 1994, which is really crazy to me. That means it's been almost 30 years. And I look in the mirror and yeah, it looks like it's been 30 years. Anyway, we specialize in remodeling home services ever since 2005. So that's coming up on 20 years that we've been in this space. So everything that I'm talking about is based on experience. We know this business really well, worked with a lot of the biggest and most successful companies. And like I said a minute ago, we do strategy, websites, SEO, digital advertising, traditional advertising, all those good things. That's what we do. I wrote a book in 2019. It was called Unlocking Unlimited Lead Flow. It still is called Unlocking Unlimited Lead Flow. You can get this book on Amazon. Look at the subtitle there, A Blueprint for Remodeling and Home Services Contractors to Make the Jump to $10 million plus. So I recommend this book. Obviously, I would recommend it because I wrote it. But let me tell you what the feedback is I get from this book. People read this book and they say, wow, number one, it's easy to read. It's a quick read. It's 400 pages, so it's long, but it's a really quick and easy read. You'll find out as we go through this webinar today. I tend to be a storyteller. It's filled with anecdotes and data, but it's not boring. So read that book. Also, I have a podcast called the Level 10 Contractor Daily Podcast. It is a daily podcast. It's been going since 2019. We're up to nearly 1,300 episodes. It's a lot. Here's what that means. If there is ever any marketing topic that relates to contractors that you might possibly have any interest in, I guarantee you that I have covered it and covered it again, and then covered it probably a third or fifth or ninth time on this podcast in different ways, shapes, and forms. So it's a fantastic resource. I really recommend that you go look it up on any podcasting platform. Also, I do a podcast in conjunction with Qualified Remodeler. It's called Marketing Matters. It has my picture on it, as you can see there. It is podcast, so you don't have to look at my picture while you're listening. It's on the cover art. This one goes out twice per month, and like I said, do it in conjunction with Qualified Remodeling magazine. So check that one out as well. If you missed the Marketing Matters podcast episodes, I do run them about after the fact, the Level 10 Contract podcast. So all of that to say, I've got a lot of content. Okay, books, podcasts, we're on a webinar now. I speak in conferences. If you're interested in what I have to say, there's plenty of opportunity for you. Do want to do a shout out to our sponsors before we get started on this podcast. First one I want to talk to you about, Builder Prime. That's going in reverse. I don't know why. It was supposed to be a different one at the top of the screen. That shows you how great my PowerPoint skills are. Builder Prime is an alternative to some of the CRM systems that are available in the industry. I've worked in the past with Market Sharp. I feel like it's a good product. I feel like Builder Prime is a better product. It was created more recently. You know how these things go, right? So you've got sort of the legacy thing that's been around forever, and they, incrementally improve it, and it gets better, and it's a good product. Like, I have no problem with Improvement 360, Improve 360, I think, Market Sharp. But Builder Prime has come on the scene a little bit later. Jonathan over there developed this program and has just solved a lot of the issues. So think about the CRM that you have right now and think about the issues about it that you're not really thrilled about, and then go to builderprime.com and take a look at what they have to do. They've solved a lot of these problems, and it's a great CRM. I strongly recommend you take a look at it. And yeah, Jonathan, actually a good friend of mine, I recommend you take a look at Builder Prime. Also, Regions Bank. Everybody knows I'm a huge proponent of financing. And so I actually went out to the marketplace and said, hey, I need to find a sponsor that does that does financing because I am such a huge proponent of it. I think that almost every home improvement company uses financing incorrectly. What they normally do is they use financing as sort of a last minute deal saver if they feel like they're losing the deal. So it's like $15,000 for siding or windows or something like that. And the homeowner has a heart attack because it's way more than they were thinking. And then the contractor's like, oh, well, what if we did financing? I think it's a bad move. I think a great move is to walk into the home and say, hey, I know this is a big project. I know it's probably something that's been weighing on your mind. Look, let's be honest, it's going to be an investment. Let me ask you this. What is your budget per month that you could afford to spend on this project? And they might say, well, I don't know. They might give you a number. If they say, I don't know, you might say, well, you know, like $200 a month, $300 a month, $400 a month. What do you think you could easily fit into your budget right now? And they give you a number. And then you say, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, I want you to know that we can easily fit $350 a month into your budget. We can make this work. You don't worry about the money. Let me show you what we do. Let me show you how we're different and better. I think it's going to be a great project for you, but don't worry about the money. Sales go up. So I went out, I looked at all these these finance companies, and Regions, I really like some of the things that they do. They're very easy to work with. You can get the like instantaneous approvals in the house when you're with the customer. And we're going to be doing a training on an upcoming webinar on how to do what I just said in 5 seconds. I just said it, but I'm going to talk about how to do it in a longer format. I think that there's a lot of money being left on the table. Go check out Regions Bank, Enterbank, part of Regions Bank now, and you can find that at enterbank.com. Okay, and then finally, Destination Motivation. I really love these guys, what they do. Okay, so here's the basic premise. They have certificates that you can give to your customers or prospects, probably customers, that give them a vacation for, not for free, but for extremely discounted. And it gives you an opportunity to really stand out because it's like, hey, would you like to go on a 7-day vacation? And then you can use it as an incentive. Okay, if you close this deal today, we'll give you this travel voucher, good for a 7-day vacation. It's also good for cruises. They've got all these destinations. You don't have to sit through the stupid timeshare pitch, which has been a problem with these kinds of programs in the past. I remember seeing similar types of programs with vacation vouchers in 2005, 6, 7 when I first came into this industry, and they were always these crappy ones that made you sit through the stupid timeshare presentation, which just sucks. If you've ever sat through one of those things, you know that that is a freaking disaster. Oh, it's going to be a 90-minute presentation. It always ends up being 3 hours. They stick your freaking arm up behind your back. They twist it. That is not what this is. These guys, look, you're going to pay a little bit of money for these vouchers because they're the good ones, okay? You're getting the good stuff here. I don't remember the pricing off the top of my head, but it seems like it's maybe a couple $100 each, maybe 100. I can't remember. Sorry, Destination Motivation people. But look, these things have proven to increase sales, okay? They increase closing ratios. They also decrease rescission. So go take a look. You can find them at, what is their website? IncreaseOurSales.com. That's O-U-R, IncreaseOurSales.com. Or you can just Google Destination Motivation. It'll pop right up on Google. Go check these guys out. Those are our sponsors for the webinar today. And I'm going to do a quick poll. In the poll, this is my funny little poll graphic. I just want to see if you have any interest in any of these companies. You can indicate it, and then they will reach out to you. So let me run the poll here. Got to put on my glasses because I'm old and I can't see stuff. What does the poll say? All right, it says, which of these companies would you like to learn more about? You can choose Destination Motivation, you can choose Enterbank, you can choose Builder Prime, you can choose any or all or none of the above. And please just check out our sponsors. You know this, right? Without sponsors, there's no webinar. So let's give a little bit of love to these folks. Plus, also, all things being considered, fantastic companies. I want you to know that I hand select the sponsors and the companies that we work with because I know that they are valuable to my customers in the realm of marketing specifically, okay? So thank you for that. Appreciate you. I see the poll filling up there pretty good. I'm gonna put my glasses back on so I can close the poll. Okay, fantastic. I think we can move on. Okay, great. Let's move on. All right, so let's get into the first digital tool. It's called Project Map It. And as we get into this, I want to give you a scenario. Let's say that you're going to go on vacation, which I love to go on vacation, and I love to go to Cancun. So let's say you're going to Cancun. So you go to TripAdvisor and you say, hey, TripAdvisor, what's a good place to stay in Cancun? I've got all these beautiful resorts down there. And here's what you do when you're looking for a resort in Cancun. Now, obviously, there's 1,000 other things that you can look for online reviews and research, but I'm just using this as an example. So here I am, I found Villa del Palmar, Cancun Luxury Beach Resort and Spa. And I want you to notice on here, let's see, we've got 7,172 reviews. And it looks like it's about 4.5 stars, so that's good. It's the #1 of one all-inclusive in Punta Sam, whatever that is. So there's one. This is like when my wife tells me that I'm her favorite, and I'm like, yeah, hopefully I'm your only. Apparently this is the only one, but we've got 7,100 reviews, so that's good. But it's not just only reviews, right? We've also got photos down here, 7,734 photos. And if you start digging into this a little bit, here's what you see. Okay, so like on the photos, I can come in here and I can say, hey, well, just show me bathroom photos. Now you might think, well, why would I want to look at bathroom photos? Well, it's very simple. My wife is pretty much a germaphobe. And the thing that grosses her out more than anything when we stay at Airbnbs or hotels or any resorts like this is the bathroom. So she always wants to know, how clean are the bathrooms? Let me see the shower. It's really important to her. So they've facilitated me coming in here and not just having reviews and not just having photos, but they've allowed me to come in here and say, okay, look, there's 57 different photos of bathrooms, and then you can go in there and kind of look at exactly what you want. On the reviews, they also give me an ability to do some filtering. So you see over here on the right-hand side, you know, I want to see people that have gone June through August, because ostensibly in this example, I'm going somewhere between June and August, which is just a made up example because I'm actually going to Cancun in October, not June through August. And also traveler type families. You could choose solo if you're a solo traveler, couples, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the point. They give you the ability to see real world feedback, whether it be photos. And, you know, I don't want to go too fast past that photos thing. Let's go back to the photos thing for a second. When you look down here at the photos, one of the things that they allow you to do is you can look at the pool and the beach, the room and the suites. But here's another thing that's not super clear on the screenshot that I've got. You can see the photos that the resort puts out there, which of course are professionally done and they look beautiful and they're probably photoshopped and touched up and everything looks perfect. Or you can see actual traveler photos, which are just raw photos. It's like the real deal, right? So that's why I love this kind of thing. So here's the question for you. What about home improvement? Is there something like this? And the quick and easy answer is, well, yeah, there's Google reviews. And fair enough, Google reviews is a very valuable tool. We all know that. That's why hopefully all of you are spending a reasonable amount of time making sure that you're getting, #1, a lot of reviews, and #2, that you're getting, you know, you're dealing with the negative reviews so that they don't pile up and start to hurt your business. I think everybody knows that. We don't really need to have a conversation about that. But what about something taking it to the next level? And you say, well, maybe it's something like Guild Quality, and fair enough, or Angie's List, and all these different places that have reviews. And I strongly endorse all of them, okay? I'm not here to say that any of that is not a good thing, because clearly and obviously all of that is a good thing. Here's what I'm here to talk to you about. How can we pump this up and make it even better, okay? So let's start here with this book called Influence, subtitled The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. I first read this book, man, probably, I don't know, in the 90s, something like that. It's a pretty old book, but it's got timeless principles that doesn't even really need to be revised, even though it says at the top it is revised. But here's what it says. It talks about what's called the 6 weapons of influence, hence the title of the book, Influence. And one of the weapons of influence, according to Robert Cialdini, is something called social proof. And here's what social proof is. A person who does not know what the proper behavior for a certain situation is will look to other people to imitate what they're doing and provide guidance for their actions. Okay. Now, if you're familiar with Malcolm Gladwell, he wrote a book called Blink that was essentially written about this same subject, about how people make split-second decisions on very important topics with incredibly little information. That's Blink, that's Malcolm Gladwell. But back to the point here, Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. Social proof. People are going to take a look. They want to find out what other people are doing. They use other people as a measuring stick or a thermometer for what they should do. And here's what he says in the book. He says that the more similar a person is to you, the more that you're going to trust them and believe them. Okay, well, similar how? Well, age, gender, race, religion, income, anything that makes somebody more similar to you is going to make their opinion more relevant and trustworthy to you. Also, geographic proximity, okay? And I'm kind of leaning over here towards Project Map It, okay? We're gonna get there in just a minute, but I don't want to go too quickly past this point, which is the more the people that are providing the social proof are like the person that is being influenced, the more likely it is to work, okay? So I want you to think about this in some other context before I get to Project Map It. All right, this is one of the things that we like to encourage our customers to do is to have a brand ambassador. Now, a brand ambassador is somebody that's going to go into the home after the job, and they're going to get reviews, so that's good. They're going to offer a discount for future projects. They're going to ask for referrals. Those are all some good things that the brand ambassador is doing. But here's what I want to focus on right here, right now. They're also there to get photos of two things. Number one, the job that you just did. So if you just remodeled a bathroom, click picture of the bathroom. By the way, another digital tool that you want to use, and I'm going to bring it up right now, Company Cam. Go look it up, companycam.com. Okay, Company Cam is going to allow you to revolutionize and make it so much easier to manage the photos that you and your salespeople and your project managers and your brand manager, everybody takes pictures. They're all going to be stored right there in one place. It's called Company Cam. I love the tool. They're not a sponsor, but I just love the tool. Okay, so go use that thing also. Hey, Company Cam, if you're listening, you know, hey, become a sponsor because I really like what you do. Anyway, the reason I like the brand ambassador to be taking these photos is because it now allows people who see the photos to self-sort whether or not they're like that photo. You say, what do you mean like that photo? Well, if you do bathrooms and kitchens and they're looking for bathrooms, they can sort by bathroom pictures and they can see if there's photos that are similar to what they're looking for to both get ideas and to see what kind of work you do regarding bathrooms. Also, if you take a picture of not just the project itself, but also the customer, then they can look at that customer and say, that person is kind of like me. Now, this gets a little bit tricky, right? Because not everybody's necessarily like that person in that photo. But if you have a certain type of customer that you cater to in a certain type of home, and you put multiple photos of multiple customers on your website, on your social media, et cetera, in your presentations, then the people that you're selling to who are ostensibly also similar to those people are going to say, they're kind of like me, okay? In what ways? Well, look at your screen, okay? So social proof normally comes in the format of testimonials, online reviews, social media recommendation comments. All of these are fantastic. I recommend, testimonials are honestly kind of, 1990s, 2000s, whatever. Online reviews have obviously become very important. I've already mentioned that. Social media recommendations and comments, I'm going to just leave that there. I think it's important. I think it could stand a 2-minute discussion, but I'm going to leave it out. But let's talk about Project Map It. So here's what your customer sticks them on a map so that people can see them. But it's not just sticking them on a map, it's sticking them on a map that is actually sortable. So what I'm going to do is this. Instead of just showing you this graphic, I'm going to attempt to pop over to an actual website. And here we go. Okay, let's make sure that my screen is showing the right thing. It is. Okay, this is Clemens Home Solutions. This is my client. They're in Muncie, Indiana, which is a little bit on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Okay. Now I want you to check this out. I want you to see how cool this is, and I want you to have a little light bulb going on over your head right now, and the light bulb says, "Oh, now I get it why Rich is having this webinar on these tools, because freaking A, this is cool stuff." Okay. So this is a page on Clemens Home Solutions Project Map It. You can get there from this is on their homepage of their website. So you come down here and it says, okay, take a look at what we've done. Filter our work by locations, photos, reviews, and services we provide. So check this out over here. On the left-hand side, we've got the map. Check this out, 638 reviews. Where? In that little geographic area. Now watch what happens if I click on it. If I click on it, it blows it up and it expands it and it says, okay, yeah, there's 638 in this area, but now we're going to subdivide that into 17 here, 42 here, 40 here, 29 here. And guess what everybody does when they see this map? They go immediately to their neighborhood where they freaking live. Do you understand this? How cool is that? So look, I know nothing about Muncie, Indiana, other than I have a client there called Clemens Home Solutions. But let's pretend for a minute that I live more out in this area here, which is called Woodland Park. So now I zoom into Woodland Park and I go, okay, there's 2 here. And I say, oh, I actually live over here by Liberty Corners. And I click on this and I see that there's 2 projects. And then I can click on that project and it shows me, okay, in this case, it's showing me the actual address, 4836 East Heritage Hills. And you'll notice that there is not a picture of the actual project. That's because in this particular case, they don't have one, but it does tell me that they did Certainty Landmark Pewter. That's what they did. If I click out of that, I can now go into some of these and I can see projects that have, well, let me find an example here. Okay, so we've got a review here. I picked Clemens for the presentation of products and services and guarantees. Thank you for the staff. So now what I'm doing, I want you to notice what's happening here. I am reading a review, not just from some random person that they have 2,000 reviews of. I'm reading a review from a person who lives in my freaking neighborhood. Social proof works better when the people that are providing the social proof are more like the person receiving the social proof. Hence, the proximity is so important. This person lives in my neighborhood and they've used Clemens. Now, look what I can do over here. I'm gonna scroll back out, or zoom back out, I mean. Okay, so I'm over here. Again, you can go anywhere you want on this map and it'll kind of go in. I think the ones with, I need to find one that has a photo of the project. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna search by media. And this is gonna tell me ones that have media. Media is gonna be a photo or a video. So now on this street, I can see literally in Country Village neighborhood that here's a project. There's the actual photo of the actual job that was done at this actual address. I can also see the review if they have it. This particular one doesn't, but I can also scroll through the different photos. See how this works? Very cool. If you don't have this, you're missing out. Okay, that's why I'm having this on my podcast, my webinar today. Overall experience, 5 stars. So you can kind of look around and you can pick and choose. Now look, I'm going to reset this map. Let's see, refresh the map. Okay, and you'll see here that there are, what is the total on here? It says somewhere. Sorry, I should probably know this. Oh, here it is, 2,153. So there's 2,153 pins on this map. And then you can also see that there's 927 with reviews and there's 482 with media. So I've got about a quarter of them have media and I've got just under half have reviews. And I can sort by reviews and I can sort by medias. I can sort by location, neighborhood, and I can also sort by, well, you can set this up. I'm not sure Clemens has this set up. Let me go to a different one here. This is called Tar Heel. This is not my client. You can go in and you can sort this by project type, okay? So I think that's enough demonstration. I'm gonna flip back over here to Clemens. I'm a little bit more familiar with it. But you can set this up to say, okay, we do window siding, roofing, gutters, etc. You can set it up so that they can just look at only roofing jobs or only window jobs or only siding jobs or whatever you want to do. It makes it so that people can find exactly what it is they do. So let me just summarize this and give you an idea. Here's what's happening. First of all, I'm seeing that they've got 2,153 jobs, which automatically is impressive to me as a prospect, okay? Wow, they've done a lot of work. Then I can see the work is in my neighborhood. I can specifically go in there. So it's the social proof is better. Then I can look at pictures, I can read reviews, and I can do it all right here from this map. This is a fantastic tool. There is a reason that I've invited you here today to hear me talk about this stuff because I really, really believe in this stuff, okay? So let's go back over to the presentation and I wanna go to ways to use Project Map It. And then we're gonna move on to some of these other services, okay? First of all, put it on your website. And I put duh because obviously put it in your website, okay? Also, put it on your pre-appointment email. So when you send an email out confirming an appointment, hey, John, just wanted to let you know we're coming over at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Thanks for having us. Here's some things you need to know, X, Y, Z. And then, hey, take a look at the jobs that we've done. Click here. Takes over to the website. People can see that. You can maybe embed it into the email. I'm not really sure how that works, but hey, technology, figure it out. Okay. Next, put it in your sales presentation. This is huge. This is massive social proof during the sales presentation. And then finally, put it in your actual proposal. Now, you might be thinking, well, how do I put in my proposal if it's a piece of paper? Well, I'm glad you asked that, because I'm going to show you in a minute how to not have a freaking piece of paper as your proposal anymore and how to do it all digital. That's coming up. Okay, One Click Contractor. But in sales presentation, we're going to talk about that with Ingage. But here's what I want you to know. Take this tool, put it on your website. Okay, this is me pausing for just a minute because I'm really excited about this. One of the things that these guys are doing over there at Project Map It is they're creating a function. It's not live yet. Well, hey, Rich, why would I want to get something that's not live yet? Well, just get it now, and then when it goes live, it's going to increase in functionality. Here's what it's going to do. It's going to create separate pages on your website for each project, which is going to influence your SEO rankings. Okay. Now, the details of how that works, go talk to the folks at Project Map It about that. But trust me, as an SEO company, we're very excited about this. We strongly encourage all of our clients to do this for the SEO purposes. Okay. All right, let's move on. Oh, also follow up emails and texts. All right, if you want to learn more, go to projectmapit.com, request a demo. Steve over there will talk to you. He's a really cool guy. You're going to like him and you're going to love his product. Okay, projectmapit.com. Now, I'm going to run a poll at the end of these 3 services that I'm going through. You can indicate interest there also, but for now, go to projectmapit.com, request a demo. All right, let's go to the second digital tool. Oh, we're looking good on time. Engage. All right, let's talk about evolution. You know, started out as monkeys, it turns into cavemen, and then it turns into, you know, humans or whatever. Let's talk about the evolution of presentations for remodeler companies. Well, in the old days, here's how it worked. You were just a dude in a suit walking into the home and giving a presentation. You know, you hand them the card. Hey, we're a home remodeling company, and you just kind of talk to people. That's how it worked back in the old days. You just talk. Well, I'm going to talk your ear off until you're ready to buy. Then they got a little bit smarter and they're like, well, maybe I'll use this flip chart. So this is the next evolution. So you get this chart, you print it out, you know, and it's got the 3 rings and you literally flip the thing. And I know there's companies that are still using this. Bless your souls. You're still using the freaking flip chart. Hey, I got news for you. It's 2023. It's time to get rid of the stupid flip chart, okay? It's time to get rid of the flip chart. Well, some companies have already got rid of the flip chart. They said, well, we're going to use a PowerPoint presentation. We'll bring our laptop in. Maybe we'll bring, you know, even more evolved. We'll bring in PowerPoint on an iPad. And hey, you know what? More power to you. I think if you have an iPad with a PowerPoint on it, that's a pretty good, you know, pretty good solution compared to having the old paper flip chart. Better certainly than just your guy going and yakking his face off and hoping that people pay attention and buy. But there is a better way, okay? There's a better way. Here's some of the problems that you have with presentations, okay? First of all, it's linear. Linear, meaning there's a starting point, there's an ending point, and you're kind of bound by the presentation to just go through it in order. Well, here's the problem with that. It's called sales. What if somebody has an objection or wants to talk about something that's not next on your flip chart or your PowerPoint presentation? You're like, oh crap, here, let me look for that. And you start, you know, doing this thing where you know, flip through, let me go, you know, back and forth on the flip chart. It's not good. It's not optimal. So the linear thing, you need to really pay attention to. It's a problem, okay? It's got a starting point, ending point, and you have very little flexibility. In sales, you need more flexibility. Also, you're gonna have a bunch of different versions floating around. Now, if you've got 2 sales guys, you can probably keep track of this pretty good. But what if you've got 7 sales guys or 11 sales guys or even 2, and they're out there doing different things with different presentations? Not optimal. What you want as an owner or a sales manager is a presentation methodology that allows for consistency and measurement. And the PowerPoint doesn't allow for that, because you've got to hope that the guy's not changing crap and that the guy's not, you know, kind of going rogue on you, okay? There's also no way to know if the salespeople are using it, how they're using it, if they're doing it right, if they cut stuff out, you don't know. Once it goes out of your possession into the possession of the salesperson, who knows what kind of nonsense might be happening out there? Not you, that's who. Also, it's hard to share digitally if you have to do digital presentations. I know during the pandemic, people shifted a lot to online presentations. Now, more recently, they've shifted back to in-home presentations, but there is still a pretty strong contingent of people that are doing some digital presentations, and it's hard to do that with the PowerPoint. So let's talk about Ingage, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do for Ingage is I'm just gonna show you a demonstration, which I probably need to find. Let me see. Where is my Ingage presentation? I think it's right here. It's hard to see because it's black and my screen is black. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna just drag it over here. That's okay. You guys see that okay? I don't know if I can make it any bigger or not. Let's try. Oh yeah, there it goes, a little bit bigger. In fact, I can make it full screen. Let's make it full screen. Okay, so this is Ingage. Now I've got kind of a demo account with Ingage. I don't personally use Ingage because I'm not a home improvement company that's out there making presentations to homeowners. The presentations that I do in my business tend to be webinars. They tend to be live speaking events, which tend to be linear. So the PowerPoint thing works just fine for me because I'm not going off script. I'm kind of going in order. I set the presentation up. I'm speaking to people who don't necessarily have interaction with me during the presentation, so the linear works. For you, not so much. So let's go over here and let's take a look at this roofing sales presentation. And I want to show you how this works. It works what I would call more like a website. So by the way, this is something that the folks over at Ingage will help you set up. If you're one of those technology people that's like, I hate technology, I can't do technology, technology sucks. First of all, you probably need to fix that at least a little bit. You got to get a little familiar with technology, okay? You can't just keep running from it and using your old handwritten notes and all your, flip charts and all this crap. You can't do that, okay? If you personally suck at technology, find somebody that works for you that is good at technology so they can kind of understand this. But all of that to say, even if you kind of don't really like technology, you don't really understand it, it kind of scares you, the folks at Ingage will help you get this set up. You don't have to be a genius at this. It's part of their onboarding. They're going to help you get this thing perfect for your company. But here's what it looks like, okay? So you'll notice down here at the bottom, it kind of has my presentation. I can flip through it using these buttons here, okay? I could still flip through it in a linear fashion, but I also have the ability to go click on, this. Let's talk about gutters. Now, I don't have gutters set up on this one. We can talk about, what is this, garage doors probably? Yeah. We can go over here. We can talk about windows. So what happens is when the person says, hey, yeah, I'm in your house to talk about windows, we now just go to the windows section and we start talking about windows, okay? Again, this isn't set up properly for what you would be doing in the house because it would actually go into the windows presentation, but it gives me the ability to go into the About Us section. Got a timeline here, can tell our company history. I can give some identity points. I can talk about the reputation of my company and just establish credibility. But if somebody has questions about products, about insurance, whatever it is, it gives me the ability to flip around in real time. It's almost one of those, what do you call it? Like a create your own story kind of a scenario. It's a fantastic tool. It's going to look really, really good. It's going to be an upgrade in terms of visual presentation and credibility that comes along with looking professional, but also this ability to now come in here and sort of choose your own story. Let me get out of this one. Let me see if I can find the one for a little more, and I feel like I have lost that one. Well, I guess I won't show that one. Let me see if I can find it over here somewhere. And if not, we'll just move on. Yeah, looks like I can't find that one. Okay, so we're just gonna move on. But here's what I want you to know. It's going to up your game, but let's also look at a couple of other things on here. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, right here. Check this out. Analytics. This is really, really cool. So now we start getting into this element of Ingage where, yeah, it's not a PowerPoint and it's not linear, and yeah, you can keep control of it and you can make sure that it's always updated, all these things that are fantastic. And you can make sure that people are actually using it. But here's what else you can do. you can go in and look at the analytics of who's using it, how they're using it, what they're doing when they're using it, what order they're going in, and you can keep track of all of this stuff on a salesperson by salesperson basis. So let me give you a scenario here. Let's say you've got 5 sales guys, and obviously if you've got 5 sales guys, you're gonna have one that's the best and all the way down to the 5th one who's the worst. And hopefully they're tightly, what's the word I'm looking for? Concentrated, and the guy who's the worst isn't that much worse than the guy that's the best. But let's say you've got a guy who's really not doing that well. Well, here's what we can do. We can go in and look at his analytics and see what he's doing. Is he spending too much time, not enough time? Is he spending too much time in one area, but not enough in another area? We can kind of keep track of what the guy is doing based on the analytics that are available in this dashboard. Okay. Now you'll look at my dashboard that's on the screen right now, and you're going to go, well, there's no analytics in there. Well, that's because I'm not actually using this as a demo account. When you get your own account, you set your own presentation up, you have the ability to go in, go through the presentation, again, all the benefits that I just talked about, but then you come in and you have the ability to look at this. Look at this. Add team, add control to your content. You can add users, admins, creators. You can come in here and you can fiddle with the actual content. Let's say you get feedback that you've got a certain slide or piece of content that's not really going over that well, or you need to add something. Well, the admin can now come in, add it, push that out, boom. Now in real time, it's updating to all of your salespeople. Of course, you probably want to communicate with them if you're adding stuff. You don't want to just sort of herky-jerky, willy-nilly add stuff that they're going through the presentation like, holy crap, what is this thing? You don't want to do that, but you have the ability to do that, and you can check up on all of this stuff. So if you go into the analytics, you can choose the amount of the date. You can look at the types of sessions. Anyway, you can go through all this stuff. Here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. I'm going to recommend that you, I'm going to recommend that you go to Ingage. Go to their website, take a look, get a demo. The website is called Ingage with an I, ingage.io. I think IO is some kind of like artificial intelligence, hip, cool sounding web extension, but it's ingage.io, Ingage, ingage.io. Okay, so let's now go to the third one, which is One Click Contractor. And as I was searching the internet, I found an actual photo of a contractor that was using paperwork to manage his business instead of digital. And here it is. Yeah, there it is. There's the caveman, and he's literally creating a contract that he's going to go give the rock to the customer and say, here, sign this thing. Okay, I'm joking, but only by a little bit. Okay, I want to encourage you to get out of the Stone Age. Now, we've already talked about presentations, getting out of the Stone Age. We've already talked about a sort of a next level social proof tool with Project Map It. Now I want to talk to you about sort of managing your entire sales process that historically has been done on paper and by hand and manually, and taking it and putting it now into a digital format. So first of all, are you measuring stuff by hand? Why? You don't need to measure stuff by hand anymore. You know this? Okay, I'm going to show you this photo in a minute. It's a screenshot of the One Click Contractor software, and you're going to go, wow, that's really cool. Okay, what about estimating with spreadsheets and guesswork? Okay, are you doing that? It takes you a long time to come up with a quote because you have to go check the spreadsheet. Maybe you got Phil back at the office that's doing the estimations. You can actually have your people do quotes in real time if you've got the right tool, which is going to be, One Click Contractor. All right, writing out sales contracts by hand. Man, I remember this. Now this is going back like 12 years ago. I went and visited one of my remodeling contractor clients. It's a very, very large contract. I won't mention him by name. And he was it just so happened that he was having a complaint that day from one of his customers who was nitpicking something. And I remember he went and got his contract, and he was looking at the contract, and it was like this 5-page document that was originally in triplicate. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like you fill one out and then you rip it off and you give it to the customer, and then you rip one off and you give it, I don't know, to the finance department, and one goes to sale. I don't know who got all the different triplicates, but it was like this 5 pages, small print. I was like, wow, that seems like a pain in the butt to manage. And yeah, it turns out that's a pain in the butt to manage. So what if you could do it digitally? Payments via goats and chickens back in the old day. It's like, all right, that's going to be 7 goats and 3 chickens for this siding job. I'm joking. Of course, goats and chickens are not viable currency in the United States of America. They might be in Canada. I'm not really sure. But just the whole idea of, okay, how are we going to get the payment? Is it going to be a check? We're going to do a credit card. How are we going to process that? You know, you grab the old machine, you know, the shunk shunk and run the credit card. I don't know. What if all of this were all condensed into just a single software? Okay, you know, just get rid of this paperwork. This is what One Click Contractor is all about. That's why I wanted you to come on this webinar today and hear me talk about this stuff, because it's really going to make a difference in the efficiency and the effectiveness of your company. Okay, so here's what One Click Contractor does. First of all, measurements. Multiple ways to add measurements to the platform, One Click Contractor, including remote measurements. You can integrate with existing tools that you use like EagleView, Eagle View Planner. There's multiple other ones that it'll integrate with. So you don't have to sit there and measure crap by hand. You can measure crap by photo and digital means, okay? Estimate. Then you take those measurements and turn them into an accurate estimates in just a few minutes. I'm going to show you this screenshot here in a minute. It's going to be really, really cool. You're going to be like, that's awesome. Thank you, Rich, for showing this to me. And then you can present that estimate, put together very professional presentations. By the way, One Click Contractor does integrate with Ingage, okay? So you can use these tools actually together. So you can take these really cool estimates that you're creating and these, what do you call it? Like, what do you call those things? Drawings, renderings, and you can just drop them right into your Engage presentation, okay? So it's really cool that way. So it's very professional for both product and price, which sets you apart from your competitors, okay? Then close, all the documents are in one place. E-sign, okay? Are you using e-sign? Okay, so I wish I had a poll for this. I wish I didn't set up the poll, so I'm just going to ask you sort of rhetorically. Are you using e-sign for your contracts right now? Because I got news for you. It's 2023. If you're not using e-sign, that's probably not that smart. Okay, let's get on the bandwagon here, folks. Free unlimited signatures, able to get signatures through text, email, the contractor's app, in person. All of this happens right there in the app. Get paid, accept credit cards, ACH, all in one platform. So basically, what we're doing is we're taking all the pain in the butt crap that you normally have to do either by hand or by paper, and we're putting it onto a digital platform where all of it happens in the same app, One Click Contractor, and boom, it's just done. So give you an idea. Let's say you sell windows or siding or whatever, anything. It doesn't matter. It could be kitchens, for crying out loud. They just came out with a new component that allows measurements for kitchens and bathrooms. It's brand new. It just came out this month or last month, within the last month. And it just makes life so much easier. So what you do is you go into the One Click Contractor and you program it according to what your pricing model is. And then when it does the measurements, it automatically figures it out for you, okay? I don't know if that's using AI or not, because, you know, AI is really topical, it's really popular right now. Everybody's doing everything via artificial intelligence. I don't know if this AI or not. Maybe it's just a computer program. Who knows? It doesn't matter. Here's what I do know. Makes it super, 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 super easy instead of a massive pain in the butt with paper trails freaking all over the planet, okay? We don't want that anymore. What we want is everything in one place. So again, just a quick photo here. We got the old proposal. It's all written in there. Look, check this out on the left, man. Think about the sales guy. Hopefully he's got good handwriting, which none of them do. We all know that. This is a nightmare disaster all by itself right there. Then you gotta, it takes time to write it all out. Now we've got it right here in the app. Everything goes in there. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. What is that? Is that how they say it? One Click Contractor. Okay, you can come in here and you can do estimations. Click on this. We're going to estimate, you know, roofing accessories, roofing, you know, I don't know how all this works because I'm not a contractor, but you can go in there and you can figure this out. Look at the top, you know, overview, LP siding, best, good, better, options, group. And again, this is the kind of thing where you're just going to have to up your game, level up a little bit from a technology standpoint. And instead of running away from this stuff and going, holy crap, this is scary, I'm just going to stick to my note cards and my legal pad. Don't do that. Learn this stuff. They've got plenty of demonstrations. They got plenty of hand holding. They're going to help you make this work. And look, let's be honest. A lot of times you buy these, you know, digital things, tools, whatever, and they've got like, let's say 100 different functions and you're using like 3. right? And you're like, man, I'm using 3 out of 100. Seems like it's like when I go to the all-inclusive resort. We started at the resort, we'll end at the resort. I go to the resort, I don't drink alcohol. So I always feel like I'm kind of getting ripped off because, all these other guys are over here pounding this vodka and all this stuff, and I'm drinking none of it. I don't even drink the sodas. Well, this is going to be a little bit different because in this case, you're going to use these tools. Like I'm not sitting here saying that you're going to use every single piece and part of this, but the overall idea of what One Click Contractor is, you're going to use the whole thing, and it's going to make your life incredibly easy. And it's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to use 3% of this program. You're going to use the whole friggin' thing, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to make your life tons easier. Okay. So just showing you, you can use on the iPad, go in, you can, estimate right there on the spot, how big is it? And then here's the one I was talking about earlier. How cool is this? You go, you take a picture of the house. Let's say you're doing windows, and it's gonna go, okay, great, here's the windows. It's gonna tell you, okay, F1, this window down here on the left, it's 36 by 60. How does it know that? Because it's a freaking computer and it knows stuff, okay? I don't know how this works. Maybe it's magic, maybe it's AI, maybe it's, I don't know what it is, but it works, okay? This window over here, F2, let's see, it's 22 by 40. You go up here to F4, F5, F6, et cetera, et cetera. It's just gonna measure this stuff for you. You can go in there and you say, okay, what kind of windows, what kind of grids, what kind of screens, all of this stuff is already pre-programmed into the thing, and you just say, okay, we want these windows to be, what is it, double pane. We want it to have this kind of grids. We want it to have this kind of screens. Boom, price kicks out, and it's accurate to the freaking penny. You see how this works? It's really, really cool. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to oneclickcontractor.com. By the way, it does integrate with both Builder Prime and Ingage. Builder Prime, our sponsor we talked about earlier, and Ingage. And I want you to take a look at this and see if it's a good fit for you. I think it is. Okay, let's do another poll here. And this poll is going to be specific to the 3 that we've just talked about. I'm going to launch it right now. Which of the services we've discussed today would you like to learn more about? Project Map and Engage. Please check all of the ones that apply. You can check more than one. Check 1, 2, 3, or 0. That's it. Those are your only choices. So go ahead and do that right now. If you're interested, click away. And I will make this available to the folks over there at those companies, and they'll reach out to you. So when they reach out to you, be courteous, take their call, set up a time. Don't ghost them. Everybody hates being ghosted. Like, yeah, I'm interested. And then they're like, hey, we heard you're interested. And you're like, silence, crickets chirping. Okay. So be courteous, reach out. If they're going to reach out to you, expect that, and, see what they have to say. All right. Looks like we got healthy interest in all of the above. And I'm really happy to see that. And the reason I'm happy to see that is because, look, here's what my job is over here. My job is to educate you about marketing. In my wheelhouse, again, for the 4th time now, I'm gonna close this poll, is websites, SEO, identity, advertising, TV, radio, Google AdWords, Facebook advertising. But there's all these other elements of your marketing that are also important, and I just want you to know about them. That's why I do podcasts and I bring up all kinds of topics, things that we don't do, we make no money on them, and I just want you to know about them, because if I don't bring them up to you, who is? I don't know, maybe nobody. Okay, last thing I want to offer you from Level 10 Contractor, a website audit. Now, the website audit is going to allow us to take a look at your website. We're going to grade it on a scale of 1 to 100 on how well that website does at getting found by Google for organic search and converting people who come to your website into actual buyers. So we create a report that looks kind of like this. You can see here the overall score is 20. That's out of 100 in the sample, but the average we look at scores 27 out of 100. Then we break it down into getting on Google's radar, how it's ranking, the conversion ability. We show you how many pages are on the website, the total number of keywords that Google is recognizing, and we break it down into all of these elements. Section 2, getting ranked. Section 3, conversion ability. If you'd like us to take a look at your website and give you an idea of how well it's performing, just do the QR code thing here. I don't have a poll for you on this one, So if you're interested, just fill out, this is going to take you to a page called level10audit.com. You can also just go to level10audit.com. It's also on the screen right now. Either way, use a QR code or go to level10audit.com. And there's going to be a little calendar on there. What you're going to do is you're going to select a time when you want to talk about the website audit. So we'll do the website audit. And look, it takes us about 45 minutes to conduct a website audit. We've got 4 different people that are involved in it. It's a little bit of a time consuming thing. Okay. So we do have some cost on our end to make this happen. It's not nothing. And so what we ask from you is to meet with us for about an hour. You'll meet with me personally. I'll go over it with you. I'll show you where your website sucks. I'll show you where your website doesn't suck. Spoiler alert, it probably sucks. And I'll give you some solutions on how to make it better. So if you want that to happen, go to level10audit.com or use the QR code. And that's it. So here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to open this to questions. If we have any questions, go ahead and type them into the thingy-mabobber that you can ask questions in, and I will answer any questions that you have. If you do not have any questions, then I will stop the webinar. We're done. Okay, the webinar is over for all intents and purposes. If you have any interest in any of the things that we talked about, go check them out. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into the box right now and I'd be happy to answer them, but I'm not seeing any. Let me see if I'm looking at it right. Yeah, none. Come on, somebody ask a question. Somebody surely has one question. I'm gonna do the going, gone here thing in just a minute. Okay, I have no questions. So I'm going to assume that that means that I did a wonderful job of presenting and everybody thought everything was super crystal clear and everybody's just loved everything they heard and has no questions. So thank you for attending. We will be sending out an email that has a link to rewatch this if you'd like to do that. I'll also be running this as an audio on the podcast, I think next week, so you can keep an ear out for that. Thank you so much for attending the webinar today. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you, like I said earlier, I'm gonna have a surprise little quick in-between webinar next month where I'm gonna talk about radio advertising in small markets. So if you're in a small market, that might be of interest to you. Anyway, talk to you soon. Thank you. Goodbye.